Hey everyone, it's Amber Spotted Elk at the Paper Owl. Thank you so much for watching today. We have 3 alternatives to your traditional fall decor, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love traditional fall decor, but I also like to have some alternatives around the house as well to spice things up. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, comment below, let me know which one of these projects is your favorite, and also if you'd like to become part of the Paper Owl family, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notified every single time that I upload, which is currently every Sunday and Thursday. Without further ado, let's get started. Hey everyone, so I'm going to start out with some of the supplies that we need. So I've got these 2 pumpkins from the Dollar Tree as well as some various fabrics. So I've got those velvet pumpkins. I do have a couple different colors of those, and then the carvable pumpkins, which you see here. So I only end up using one of these for this project, but really you can mix and match however you need to. So I do start by removing the stems from these pumpkins and then also carving out a hole in the middle, and that'll help with painting them and with covering them with fabric. Another thing that I am going to be using is the wooden stems from the Dollar Tree. Honestly, if you've got a twig out in your backyard, that would work as well. Some of the fabric that I'm using today is fabric from Walmart. You can get 2 yards for $2, which is some of the lace that I'm using, which is a great deal. It actually is quite a bit of fabric. And then I'm also using some lace from Walmart, I believe, as well, which comes in like the 6 inches long, and it's 3 feet long, or 6 inches wide, 3 feet long, my goodness. And then some various ribbon and lace ribbon and all of that. So you can see I painted these, and I didn't want to bore you with all of the video of me painting, so we're just finishing up here. But I didn't want the lace to be able to see through to the orange of the pumpkin, so that's why I wanted to paint those. And I do love these velvet pumpkins. I don't like the stem on them, and so I'm just removing that. That first one came out super easy. The second one gave me problems. What I did is I heated it up with my heat gun, and that helped melt some of that adhesive goo that was holding it in place, and then it came out much easier, as you can see. So it got kind of sticky. I took this tool and just kind of pushed the fabric down inside there, and putting the wooden stems on honestly really made these look a lot more high end. I thought they kind of blended in a little bit as far as coloring goes, so I decided to take the truffle paint by Waverly. I watered it down and used it almost kind of like a stain to make these wooden pieces just a little bit darker, so that there was a little bit more of a variation in color. I felt like they just kind of blended in too much when I held them up to the velvet pumpkins. So that's just a tip. You obviously don't have to do that. I just like the way this looked a little bit better. So I'm just going to be using hot glue to glue these down. Nothing crazy, but you can see that it made these a little bit more of a contrast with that paint on there. So I didn't want them to look like they were painted, and so that's why I added water to the paint so that it looked more natural, because these are that natural wood product. So and then I'm adding this lace from the Dollar Tree and some various other ribbons and raffia that I had laying around. The key here is just to make it look kind of thrown together. It doesn't need to be perfect. They don't need to be the same size, any of that. So I just kind of threw together some different laces and ribbons and added them onto the pumpkins. And then I also used this pitberry that I got from Hobby Lobby. I know that Dollar Tree is carrying some this year. I sadly have not been able to find any at my stores, but you can get it for about $1.50 if it's on sale at Hobby Lobby, and that's for 12 feet versus the 9 feet that you'll get at the Dollar Tree. So you can see I'm tying on some lace, some twine, using that pitberry kind of as a little curly cue there. So just have fun with this. So I ended up, if you could see, I had it tied on before, and instead I decided to untie those and then just attach it in one spot on the back untied, and I feel like that made it look just a little bit better. So basically I do this with all of the pumpkins that I'm decorating today. Kind of throw together some different laces and ribbons, really add a lot of texture in there, the raffia, the twine, and then I even put some beads on here. So these are beads that I got from Michael's. I think they were like $1.50 maybe, and they were on sale. So but you can absolutely use beads from the Dollar Tree. I just had these on hand. So here's some of that 6-inch by 3-foot lace, and I am just cutting it in half to add some extra texture on there. This little pom-pom I got, it's like a glitter tulle pom, and I cut it down because it was just a little bit too large, but I got a 2-pack of those on clearance from Michael's for 97 cents. Now obviously Dollar Tree carries tulle. You can make your own little pom from that, but like I said, I had this on hand, so I figured I might as well use it. And I didn't add a whole lot extra to this one just because that pom did kind of take center stage, so I didn't want to get too crazy with all of the extra stuff on there. I just wanted to add a little bit more texture. So you can see that's what I'm doing here, and just putting some different twines and ribbons and lace and like whatever you have, just kind of throw it together. It doesn't have to look uniform, it doesn't have to look the same. I also took this rubber tennis ball from the Dollar Tree. I covered it in that same lace and just kind of twisted it together, and then I put some twigs from one of the grapevine wreaths that I got from the Dollar Tree that was falling apart, and I actually stuck those all together and then wrapped them in twine, and you'll see that a little bit better in this next clip here. So I feel like it looks kind of like an ornament, but I still like it, so I kept it. This is that $2 for 2 yards lace fabric that I got from the Walmart. You can see I'm pushing it in that hole, kind of holding it in place with some hot glue. Again, attaching that stump with some hot glue. These were so easy, so simple, and they turned out so shabby chic, so beautiful, so vintage looking. I just absolutely love this kind of alternative look to Halloween or fall decor. And I absolutely love the traditional colors, but like I said in my intro, I do like having, some different decor styles in different areas of my house. And so you could see I added some extra beads onto that large one as well. This pumpkin I decided to paint white. I think it's beautiful as is, absolutely, but to go with the theme today, I'm going to be painting this white, and then the stem I'm going to be painting kind of a copper gold. I believe it was called Penny. The color was called Penny, and it was an acrylic paint from Target. So if you're interested, I did have to put a couple coats of paint. But you can see here I had this bucket, and I just threw these together, put some greenery in there, and I absolutely love the way that this turned out. I just couldn't be happier. I did add some leaves onto that larger one as well. All I did was paint them white and gold. So we're going to be using this pumpkin wreath form next. It took me a while to decide what I was going to do with this, and I'm so happy on my decision here. So I did paint this white. It may have been easier to spray paint it in hindsight, but whatever you want to do. So I took these white Chanel stems, and I made one for each connection onto that larger wreath form. So I believe it was 16. And so I started out and just decided to put these all in place at once. And I just made sure that it kind of wrapped around so that it wouldn't move at all. And there's one on either side of the frame there. So I took all different kinds of fabric here, the lace, the gold tulle, some kind of satin fabric, and I even took a piece of pink to add in there. And basically I just started attaching each piece of fabric with the chenille stems, and I tried to make it so that the attachment was in the back so that the front would look nice and clean. So I just go through, attach one piece of fabric to each of the chenille stems on either end, and I absolutely love the way it turned out. You can see here. So because I used a lot of the see-through kind of fabrics, I wanted to give the backing a solid color because you could see through, just to give it more of a finished look even when you're looking at it from the front. So this is, optional, absolutely. If you're putting it on a white wall, it probably isn't going to matter very much, but I wasn't sure where I was going to be placing this, and so I just cut out some fabric to go on the back, and I just used scraps, so you don't have to have like a full piece of fabric. You can use, like I did, what you have, and just glue that on the back there, and I feel like it just kind of gave it more of a finished look. And then I just went around and trimmed the edging so that you couldn't see that from the front, and basically that's all I did for the main frame. And then I also decided to jazz up the stem a little bit, and I added some more ribbon and lace and some more of that berries to make the curly Q, just to add a little bit more interest at the stem there. But again, I'm just cleaning this up as much as possible to make sure that it's not showing through, because obviously I wasn't being as careful putting it on, but you can see all the different things that I used there to add to the stem. So I've got the pipberry, I've got the raffia, all the different colors and textures of ribbon and lace. So really, you guys, I had this stuff on hand, so whatever you have on hand, but a lot of this ribbon I actually got from the Dollar Tree. I think the only thing was maybe one of the thicker ribbons that I had gotten on clearance at Walmart, but even that raffia, that dark brown raffia, is from the Dollar Tree. So by all means, you can definitely make this on a budget. So please don't feel like you have to go out and buy a whole bunch of crazy ribbons and laces and all of that to be able to do this. So I just started laying out my ribbon and my lace kind of all in a pile, you'll see there, and no real rhyme or reason. Like I said, you kind of want it to look like it's thrown together, and so I just decided to pick up a ribbon or a lace as I pleased and lay it down kind of in half. And that's because that's kind of how I'm going to be placing it on the stem. So I am just so happy with how these turned out. And if you want to experiment with some different kind of decor ideas this fall, this is a great way to start, because this type of decor is very forgiving. It's kind of vintage looking and is supposed to look a little bit worn, a little bit thrown together. And so if you are worried about making a project, this is a great way to start. It doesn't have all of those clean lines. It's not about measuring stuff. And so if you're a new crafter, this is a great design to start out in, just so you guys know. So if you're afraid, I urge you to try this. You really cannot you really cannot mess it up. So and here it is. I absolutely love the way this turned out. So you can see I made that curly Q a little bit larger on this, obviously because it's a larger size pumpkin. But you can just see all those textures and ribbons that we just kind of threw together there turn out gray as well as on the pumpkin form. This next one is so easy. So I took that wired twine from the Dollar Tree. I took 2 packages of it and I just wrapped it tightly in a circle, kind of making sure that they were going one after another in my hand there. And then just continuing to wrap and wrap and wrap. And then I had cut off a piece because you need to connect these together. So I cut off a piece and then wrap them in the middle really tightly. You guys, you want to make sure this holds together well. So really, really tightly, you just fluff it out into this pumpkin form. I took a little bit of nautical rope to make the stem. And then I also just added a bow on here for some interest, as well as some more of that buried, add that little curly Q that I've been liking so much with these pumpkins. But you can see I just add a little bit of glue onto that nautical rope. It was just some scrap piece that I had set aside, and I just kind of put a little bend into it to make it look like a stem. But you can see I'm just fluffing out those pieces of that wired twine until I get them how I want them to look. So just kind of mess with it. It's really forgiving. It's really easy to put together. So this was so simple, so easy. Like it literally took me like less than 5 minutes to make this, you guys. Like, so simple. And you can decorate and jazz this up as much as you want to, as little as you want to. I just made a little bow and put it at the base of the stem there, along with that curly Q, and that's it for this, you guys. Like, so simple. Look at how cute it turned out. Oh my gosh, I love just the different texture and the different vibe that this adds to the whole project, all put together. So I put this on one of my side pieces in my house, side mantle pieces. So here is everything together. Please comment below. Let me know which one of these projects was your guys' favorite. I absolutely loved how all of this turned out. I hope you guys like the alternative to the traditional fall decor as much as I do. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I love the traditional stuff as well, but just something different for another area of your house to add some interest. So please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel out. Thank you guys so much for watching today. And please, like I said, try these out. Send me some pictures if you try it out. I'd love to see your pieces. But I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and happy crafting.